Hello, everybody. I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube today, and we're on Facebook a week before Christmas. How's everybody doing today? We're going to talk today about how to start a trades business and some of the things that you need to know. And I'm going to get my other little dimmerhickey going here. How's everybody doing? Are number one, are y'all ready for Christmas? I'm going to drop the comments down right there. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up over here. All right, here we go. So I'm going to fix that, change that, and jump into the comments real quick and say hello. And I see we got Jacob Bowen in the house hard and hot already. Roger, how you doing today? Not doing well. Last night I had a little too much alcohol. That's not good. Not good. Kellel says, "Hey, question, do you need to install with a pilot assembly kit the gas control valve if you have to keep on relighting the pilot every 5 or 6 days? Do you keep one faucet dripping in cold weather?" I do keep a faucet dripping. If it's on a side wall, if it's on the inside, I'm not too terribly worried about it. But you know what, Kellel? Uh, you don't if I change out the pilot assembly, I change out everything. I change out the gas control valve. I will try the pilot first. Then if I have to change out the gas control valve, I will. Relighting them every 5 days is a lot of fun. Jacob says, "Every now and then you run into a plumber who wants to be cheap. Don't be the cheapest plumber, be the best. Your customers and yourself may not be the cheapest, but the best." Absolutely. Gas-powered toilet, I don't see any point in them. But much love from El Paso, Jonathan Lopez. What is up? Good to see you. Man, I actually got to go out to El Paso a few years back and do a morning show out there. It was really, really cool. And I don't watch wrestling. Thank you. North Carolina's low in the 30s. Uh, yeah, it's not but not that cold here. It's only in the about the what maybe in the 30s this morning. Liquid Blake says, "Hello, party people. How are y'all doing? Good to see you in here. Wrapping gifts now, getting ready for Christmas. Justice for all. Good to see you in here as always." You know, the neat thing is oh, yeah, pulled that up and I didn't even get it all set up yet. Let me set this up one way or oh, now I gotta reconnect. Gotta get my motor going. Uh, so anyway, yeah, man, a week before Christmas, that blows my mind. It sneaks up on you really, really quick, which, is a lot of fun, but man, we're only a week away from that. Then I lost my connection. And then another week away from a new year. So are y'all ready? I mean, how many of y'all we're talking about starting a new business. How many of y'all are planning on starting a business in 2023? Because that's what most people say, "Look, I want to do it right at the end of the year." Yeah, why not connecting very most people wanna do it at the beginning of the year or something, and if you're wanting to start a business, you should have already started working on it to get things ready, but it can still be done, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Alan Montgomery says, "Merry Christmas, love your videos, thank you very much." Look, we have fun at what we do, uh, and it's thanks to all of y'all that I get to do the things I do. So, Alan, thank you very much. I do appreciate you being in here, and as I see Mr. Sean Strong is in the house, man, the greatest panel moderator of all time. Sean, come in here, it's good to see you, sir. Imma shut that one down right there. Sorry, but I am trying to get my slider up and running just so I've got a full screen to go to there, and I have just about got it. Perfect. So now you get to see a little bit of movement. Sean Strong put the link in for the subreddit and the Discord. If y'all don't know Sean, man, make sure you connect with him over on Instagram. Follow him, boom underscore the plumber. Great guy. Michael Sakaris, how are you? Good to see you in here. And Mike Hamilton, never never really ready for Christmas, man. Isn't that the truth? Always started in August thinking I got this, then the 17th rolls around and not even close. Well, brother, we're there. Uh, the 17th. So it's time. Roger HD, how are you doing? Merry Christmas to you, sir. And yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I say Merry Christmas. It's the way I was raised. Happy holidays to all y'all, but from me, it's a Merry Christmas. Justin Reed says, "Hello, Roger. 20-year service plumbing, looking to get my license and get out on my own. Take a lot of pride in my work. Appreciate you all the way from Ohio." Justin, I love that. If you've been 20 years in service, where are you working at? Because if you've been doing it 20 years without a license, you've got to work in a state that maybe doesn't require a license for journeyman just to own your own company. So, man, I'm just curious. Drop in there where you're from. Justice Frost is getting ready for frozen pop weather up here next week. Wind chills as low as 30. Oh, negative 35. Dude, that is way too cold for me. Mark Griffin says, "I can do your plumbing cheaper than quoted price." Oh, cannot. There, I was fixing to say, man. Mark Griffin says, "I cannot do your plumbing cheaper than the quoted price." And Mark, I love that because here's the thing. A lot of people go into business and they think, look, man, I've just got to make money. And don't get me wrong, we've all got to make money, but you don't want to make money by just being the cheapest guy in town. And it really is, it's tough to get people to believe that because they're literally like, well, hey, look, if I'm the cheapest, more people are going to call me. My phone's going to ring. I'm going to have a lot of work. I'm going to be able to do this. And they're the cheapest person in town. They are working way harder than they should and making way less money than they should. And in the end, it becomes not worth it at all. Sean Strong is in the house. Ray Cedillos is plumbing from New Mexico. What's your thoughts on ProPress? It's really neat. Look, I like ProPress. And I mean, just press fittings in general. Uh, if you look at what they do, if you look at the fact that, you don't have to prep it for solder, you don't have to wait for it to heat up. One of the first times I ever used any press fitting was on a 3-inch MedVac intake. Okay. So I'm a med gas plumber working out at Medical City here in Dallas. They had a leak on a 90 on the medical gas intake. And literally, we were able to wait till the system shut down, cut it, put it back together, pro press it before it ever bumped back up. And we had timed it, so we knew about how long we had. And man, it worked out fantastic. Jacob Bowling is ready for Christmas. That is fantastic. Sean Strong is currently 36 in Nebraska. Had a lot of half days this week because of blizzard conditions. In Texas, we had a lot of half days this week because of alcohol no, I'm joking. Man, it hadn't been amazing here, but it has not gotten down that cold. And that's not true. We did get down to 36. Actually got down to about 34, but not too terrible. Brandon the plumber says, "Love the Saturday streams." Thank you very much. What the cool thing is we love what we get to do. Uh coming in here, having fun. And guys, we're gonna completely revamp this next year. So starting here in the next probably couple of weeks, I won't be here next week for Christmas Eve. Probably won't be here the next week for New Year's Eve. But after that is gonna be what? January the 6th, 7th, somewhere in there? That's when we're thinking, "Man, we're gonna have cameras set up to where we can go from this studio to the shop, outside to where we're gonna be cooking, and that's where we're gonna be starting our sipping Saturdays. We're gonna come in a little early, fire up the grill or Traeger, green egg, whatever we end up putting out there, and we are gonna be cooking, maybe drinking just a little bit, and it's gonna be a beautiful day. The Lord's Plumber says, "Packed up my plumbing company in Washington, moved to Tennessee, just started my new business here and can't wait to get going." Lord's Plumber, number 1, I love the name. Here's what I would ask you is, what did you do to prepare for the move to help get ready, and what are you doing to make your phone ring right now? Justice Frost says, "Mark Griffin, good work isn't cheap, and cheap work is not good." Amen. Jonathan Lopez is closer and closer for my license. Good for you. Daniel Canucci says, "Service shop versus backlog testing shop, backflow valve, I guess, testing shop's what you mean." I tell you what, I don't like backflow testing in the Dallas area. There's so many people doing it that the price is so low. Even when I was licensed to test backflow preventers, and I've got the gauges, I've got everything, man, it wasn't worth it. There's people going out and doing it for $75. By the time I go out and do it and register the paperwork, all that, I've already burned a couple of hours. We're here in Texas, God, there's plumbing charging $300-$400 an hour. So there was it made no sense to me. Not if I could call somebody to do it for 75. There you go, Daniel. I knew what you meant, brother. Justice Frost says it's 21 here in central Kansas. Man, hope you're in front of a fireplace, brother. In Ohio, we can work under a licensed plumber. Okay, and that's the way California is. The responsible master plumber, the company owner has to have his licenses or whatever he's gotta have, and then basically the people under him, there is no license. If Amber said, "Hey, I wanna run a call today," man, I can see she's a plumber. Now, it may come back to haunt me, but you need to think about who's doing what, how they're doing it, but Justin, I love it because if you move to Texas, all you would need is a form signed by your boss saying, "Yeah, you've been a plumber for so long," and Texas would allow you to come down and take the exam. Jonathan says, "Watch your videos to prepare for the test journeyman from 3 years ago. You still recommend those books?" Absolutely, I do. There's probably a link to it, the UPC study guide down in my description, just because it's I always recommend the same book. Like I said, anyone wants to get in the trade, listen to Roger's advice. Like I said, don't be cheap, be the best. There you go. Jonathan says, "Merry Christmas, Roger." Thank you, sir. Good to have you in here. Morning, Sean. My buddy, Mr. Matt McDonough. How are you? The Mr. Miyagi of plumbing. That would be me. And again, Sean's got the links. Guys, if you're not in the subreddit group and you're not on Discord, you might want to jot these links down, take a picture of them, copy and paste them, do whatever you got to do. Jump in over there. Uh, it's a great place. Number one, if you ever see any crappy pictures of plumbing, horrible pictures of electrical work, anything like that, or even if it's not bad, say it's amazing. Man, take pictures, post it over there. If you're in here because you got plumbing questions, how to fix stuff, man, post it over there if it's during the week. There's a lot of good people in there can give you some great advice. Jacob, Roger, love the stream when you grilled on what that was awesome and crazy, but it was fun. Love the Saturday streams. Definitely be drinking a little bit next year. There you go. My favorite editor, Mr. Colton Casada in the house. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Yeah, the real hero. There you go. Sweeney Dunston, YouTube, happy to see you in here, brother. Brandon, the plumbers in Phoenix, only business owners need to be licensed. Oh, says in Phoenix, only the business owner needs to be licensed. And there's a lot of states that it's that way. Uh, and it would kind of be nice if Texas was that way because then, I mean, I can hire people, take them in the back, put them on trainers, teach them how to do a lot of things, and send them out and know they're going to do it right. But that's one thing about Texas. Look, everybody coming into your house has to have so many hours, has to be licensed in order to do the things they're doing. So it is good. There you go. Hey, Randy's over there. We got this thing. There. Yeah, Sean Hookem. I get it. I appreciate that. Jacob Bolin says that reminds me, happy holidays from my family to yours. Thank you and happy holidays to all y'all. Merry Christmas to y'all. Killer Cases, thanks for accepting my press shark bite joke. Hey, I get a lot of jokes, trust me. Uh, James Lyle says it's pretty scary to start your own business, especially when you have a good job. I've thought about leaving, but can't pull the trigger. James, man, you need to read the book Good to Great. The reason being, that's exactly what it's about. When people get in a good position, it's hard to step up because, man, we're making a good living. And when I started looking at how much I was making, I mean, at the time that I started my own company, I was a superintendent in the union. Actually, I was director of operations in the union. I had moved up from foreman to superintendent, and man, I was in a good spot. I was making really good money. I had a company truck. I had credit cards, computers, phones. I mean, man, they're paying for my gas. They're paying for almost everything I did. But everything I did was associated with work. I got bonuses. I mean, there were so many good things about that job. But when I started working for myself is when I found out, look, I can make as much money as I wanna make. I can control the attitude, I can control the culture, I can control everything about the company. I can hire the right people, train them the right way. We can focus on what we wanna focus on, do the things that we wanna do. When you're focusing on where you wanna go, what you wanna do, and how you wanna do it, the opportunities are phenomenal. Jared says, "I just got in here and starting a plumbing company in Alabama as we speak. Best advertisement that you have found to actually work?" Jared, number 1, you want a good website because you want a place to send people to. So therefore, you want a website that is gonna get found. Now, I don't like spending a lot of money on pay per click, so I spent more money on organic and social media. So start a page. So if you're starting a company, one of the first things I recommend to people, get your name on every social platform you can. Every. They say Vine's coming back. Get your name over there so nobody else does. They say, the Fireside, it's social audio. Get your name over there so nobody else does. And that way, if one of these grows up to be the biggest thing out there, you got your name there. And even if you say, "Look, I'm never gonna do anything on social audio," that's fine. My thing is, what if you get over there and somebody else has already got your name? What if it does become the biggest thing in the world and you can't even get in? So to me, that's what you wanna be careful of. Uh, so let me see. Next we got Denver Charboy. How are you? Good to see you in here. Sean says, Jared, drive around town till you find someone else plumbing van at a house, knock on the door, tell the customer it doesn't matter what the guy is doing. You can do it better and cheaper. I wouldn't throw the cheaper in, but I get that. And Jared, here's one thing that I did when I first started out. When you first start out your own company, you've got a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money. So what I was doing is I was going to real estate companies and going in and saying, "Look, I would love to talk to your real estate agent about why y'all need to do a sewer and water test for every buyer before they buy a house. And when I put all that together, started coming in doing presentations and teaching them, who do you think the plumber is that they would tell their customers to call? Number 1, if they needed that done, but then they knew I was a plumber, so it's like, "Okay, we'll have them call you too." I was just checking to see if I had any cough drops down there. John Strong says, "Jared," yeah, I love that, that's good. Uh, would you trust a site like LegalZoom to start a plumber? Anthony, I've never I've never used LegalZoom. I'm not gonna say no, but I would rather start building a relationship with an attorney, build a relationship with a CPA, a bookkeeper, or find a CPA that you know, love, and trust, or somebody else that you know does, and then find out what bookkeeper they recommend. But LegalZoom, here's what's neat. You could probably do this. Go talk to one of the biggest plumbing companies in your area that does work the way you do it, and walk in and ask them, "Look, can I speak with an owner? Can I speak with the manager?" And tell them, "I'm wanting to start my own company. Uh, I'm starting it here in this area. Look, I'm just starting out, so I'm not gonna take any work from y'all, but can you give me any ideas, any support, any help?" "Thank you, sir." Can you give me any information? What would you do different if you were just starting out right now?" And see what they tell you. Uh, luckily for me here, I'm in the Dallas area. I was able to go talk to Gus at Milestone. I was able to go talk to Jimmy Dale over at Baker Brothers. I was able to go down and talk to Josh Campbell and Michael Hirsch at Rescue Air, and they ended up becoming my business partners and the people that bought me out. So it's a pretty cool deal. Jacob says, "Some plumbers don't have any sense. Most of them do. Roger, I have a nickname for you, the plumber outlaw. Fits you well enough about me flapping my gums." There you go. Sean, Sean Daughtery, 57, thinking about getting into plumbing. Am I too old? No. And I say no. I can't say that. You can. Are you too old? You've got to decide what works best for you. I had an apprentice one time that was 55 years old. He loved it. He worked hard at it. He wanted to be great at it, and he did a good job. Rick First, as long as you're a master plumber, and now you have to have a contractor's license to pull permits. So the state still gets their money either way. And Texas gets a lot of money off me every year, but Texas also gets money off every other licensed plumber in the state. That's why I'm surprised that every state doesn't do that. Sean Strong, Jared, make sure to stop by all the other businesses, tell them that you're gonna shut them down, take all their work, and just might shut their doors that day. Probably not. Here's what's cool though. If you do great work, what you can do is you can actually come in and talk to these companies and say, "Hey, look, uh, now, uh, we've got a good reputation. We do things right. We're getting 5-star reviews. If y'all ever get slammed and can't get to everything, would y'all please refer your overflow work to us?" You'd be surprised how many companies will do that because we all want somebody to refer good people to when we can't get to everything. So it's not bad. Jacob, justice for all. Roger, I'm the only plumber in my area that still has a pipe thawing machine. You know what? Those are a good thing to have. I want a thawing machine. I don't need it in the Dallas area. I want videos with it, and I want a pipe freezing machine because I want to show people how to stop water. I think that's pretty cool. Sean Strong says, "Jared, all jokes, word of mouth is the best, but you might need to do a little bit more than that." And man, you do. Mike Hamilton says car wash, radiant floor heating in each bay with a gas boiler. Do you just maintain the temperature with the boiler thermostat? Circulator always running, or do you need the external thermostat within the concrete or return flow? There is no holding tank. I'm not a licensed plumber, but I'm trying. Mike, on that one, I'm not sure. I don't deal a lot with radiant heat. I would want more than just the thermostat on the boiler. I would think you want a thermostat out there. That way, if the temperature gets above freezing and you don't need it running, you don't have it running. You don't waste a lot of energy. Jacob, thank you very much. Sean G. Strong says, Mike, I believe that thaw system like that have thermostats in the concrete, may even be one for each zone. That would sound closer to it. Thank you. Denver says, Roger, when you go into first term schooling, is it difficult? I have to go in February and feel like I haven't learned a whole lot. Denver, it's not that hard. Here's the deal in the beginning, especially if you've already been out on a job, they're going to try to do the basics. I think your first year, you do math. You may learn soldering, how to measure, how to cut pipe, how to read a tape measure. I don't think you're gonna get in and get overwhelmed. Every night I was at school, though, if I were you, ask the students that are a year ahead of you what they're working on. That way you know what's coming up, and you can start jumping in here and learning about it. Go to the Discord group, go to the subreddit, ask questions, learn how to do what everybody ahead of you is doing. That's where you're gonna do good. And that'll help set you apart from everybody else if you can get ahead like that. Bruce Lane says, "I'm an HVA apprentice. My goal is to get licensed and start a small business." And Bruce, that's exactly what we're talking about today. I mean, most people that get in the trades, I never got in and thought, "One day I wanna have my own company." Maybe it's because my parents weren't that way. They both had jobs their whole lives. Now, at one point, there was a little bit of a time where they taught swimming lessons, and they ran it out of the house because we had a me and my sister both helped teach those. So that's where I started learning about entrepreneurship, but I still never thought upon becoming a plumber about starting my own company. Later in life, I started looking at it after a friend of mine did it and thought, wow, why didn't I do this a long time ago? So, Bruce, it's a great idea. Robert John says, I have the opposite problem. I've been doing custom plumbing and HVAC for over 20 years. And a year ago, just got my EMT certification for my volunteer department. Thought about becoming full-time EMT, but the pay is so low versus plumbing and HVAC. Absolutely. Here's the deal. EMT, if it's something you love, work plumbing Monday through Friday. See if you can do EMT rides on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. If you're like, well, that's too much work, I get it. Maybe just ride on Friday and Saturday night. I used to be a bartender. When I started plumbing, I wasn't making so I knew then I might have to do something else to bring in other income. And y'all that are wanting to open your own companies, think about this. Literally, I would work during the day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, I would go to a bar to make extra money. I've done that before trying to open another company before because I opened another one before Texas Green Plumbing. Messed it up, ran it into the ground. I just wanted to make money. It was the wrong reason. If you're only opening a company to make money, then it's not the right reason. It's not gonna be enough. But what I'll tell you, I've always loved having that opportunity to work other jobs, so I didn't if you walk into give someone a quote and you don't have to make that money to pay your bills, you don't worry about it near as much. So, think about that. What can you do? Robert John, I love the idea of being a plumber during the day and go run EMT, do it. Man, do it. Makes your heart feel good on Friday and Saturday night if you can. Jacob, man, oh man. Mark Griffin, start building relationships with restoration companies. You can make money from referrals to them, and they'll gladly send customers to you. And Mark, I've only had a couple of restoration companies ever return the favor because they work with so many plumbers. Normally, the biggest plumbing companies that are sending them, God, 5 or 10 referrals a week, that's who they would send their referrals to. Man, I've met some really great people in the restoration business. Sean says, "On Instagram, my friends and I like to refer to plumbing as a community, not a competition. Try to keep that in mind when working alongside or in the same service area with others." And Sean, that's great. And I've had people reach out to me in the Dallas area and say, "Look, I know that you won't teach me how to do social media." And I'm like, "Why wouldn't I?" And they're like, "Well, I'm in your area, so I'm your competition." And I'm like, "There's over 8 million people in the Dallas area. I can't get to all of them. Why wouldn't I help somebody else?" If they're wanting to learn it and willing to get good at it, man, I'm happy to teach them. Justice Frost says, "Roger, another area of my company sends me their overflow work because it respects my knowledge and quality work." And Justice for all, that's what it's all about right there. All right, Jacob, thank you, sir. You have a wonderful week and Merry Christmas because I won't talk to y'all before then. Barb Holland, good to see you in here. Bruce is one of the best states as far as what? I'm from North Carolina. And to me, I think when it comes to the plumbing and the trades, I do think Texas is the best. I'm a native Texan. I think Texas is the best for so many reasons. But one neat thing about the video I put up the other day, Texas is going out of their way to make sure high school students have an opportunity to learn plumbing while they're in school. They can get out with a tradesman license after they go to Austin or after they go to the Texas State Board and take their exams. So imagine that. You can hire somebody right out of high school as a tradesman that can create revenue for you. They're going to come out of high school making about 50, 52 grand a year. So it'll be interesting. Sean says only 16. You guys need to step up at the button. I know 16 likes. You believe that? And I've got about 40 over on YouTube, another 50 over on Facebook. So yeah, you would think. Bruce says, my uncle has a commercial construction business. First ever job out of high school was for him. Here's what I like about that, Bruce. I started learning construction from cleaning up a job site. I believe I was in middle school, maybe my freshman year of high school. Then I got a job building redwood decks and fences. I got a job with Capform Construction, who does concrete, pouring forms, and I did that in the summer. But man, I loved it. I'm like, "You know what? This is pretty cool." I love doing commercial work. In high school, actually my junior year of high school, I quit, got a job with a plumbing company, and really loved it. Did it that year and that summer. Went back and graduated with my class, but then came right back into it, man. I just loved it. Chris Shreves says, "Just started my own plumbing company. Would you subcontract a company to do your bigger jobs that is too big for one person to do?" Chris, I would not bid jobs like that because here's what happens. What if you bid a $50,000 job and you hire a company that says, "Look, we can do it for 40," but then they get in there and they've got problems, and then they come back to you and say, "Hey, look, it's gonna take another 20 to do it." What if they walk away? Now you're in the middle of a mess. You've gotta make it up, fix it, do whatever you gotta do, or it's gonna come back on you. I don't like that. And I'll give you one good piece of advice, and I love it today. We're talking about how to start a trades business. Because one thing that I was taught in the very beginning, never bid a job so big that if you lost that money, it would hurt you. And I mean, think about that because when you first start a business, 10 or $20,000 loss would devastate you. But I've got to tell you, there's companies here in Dallas that I've worked for that literally had me go do work, ran up a $10,000 bill, and I kept billing, saying, "Man, look, I gotta collect on this, I gotta collect." And they're flippers that I had worked with before. And finally, the lady says, "Roger, look, we can't pay you. We're not making any money on that job." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I did all this work." And they're like, "Yeah, but we're not making any money." How bad is that? That'll mess you up. Luckily, though, it did not put me out of business. So, you've gotta look at jobs like that. What would a 10 or $20,000 loss do to you and your business? And if it happened, could you handle it? James says, "What are the right reasons if not to make money?" James, to me, and don't get me wrong, money's the side product, but if your only goal is, "Look, I wanna get rich, I wanna make money," you go in because you think that why did I start mine? Because I saw other companies were not providing the services they were. They're telling people, "We have the best trained plumbers," but they're not training their plumbers. They're telling people, "We believe in customer service." Again, they're not training their plumbers. They tell people, "We do the right thing each and every time," but they're telling their plumbers, "Take shortcuts, save money, and get out of there." So me, I started it because I thought, "Look, if we do things right and we don't do things that these other people are doing, we're going to be a better company." That's why I started mine. I wanted to be a better company. Then once we were in there, we realized, "Wow, you know what? We can make good money." I just thought if I can make enough to make a living to do what I'm doing now, maybe make a little bit more, that'd be fantastic. But we started making a good living, and then when people bought me out, it was really fantastic. Sean says, "Where do I go to become a licensed plumber? I live in Kansas City area." Sean, you would have to contact first of all, contact the city you're in. Who contact the building department, say, what are the licensing requirements in Kansas City?" I'm trying to talk to my son, see if he can hear me. If so, I would literally look up how to get a plumbing license in Kansas City, uh, Kansas City, Missouri, whatever it is, and see if one's even required. It's not required in some states, which blows my mind. Aaron Guitar says, "Is plumbing the oldest trade?" I would think so because they were worried about moving water before and or before electricity and HVAC, so yeah, I would say probably s Whoever says that, "How strong your beard is something." Bruce Lane says, "How big is your company, Roger? How many field employees do you have?" We have probably got 7 people in the plumbing department, and probably 30, 40 people in the HVAC side. So it's nice. Uh, and here's the cool thing, when I sold to them, we had, 2 or 3 people in the office. We had probably 5 or 6 out on the field. We've grown, we've added trucks, added services, we're branching off and doing other things. So there's a lot of good stuff going on down at Rescue Air, and man, we've almost doubled we've increased our business 60% in the last year. So since I sold it, it's gone up 60% in revenue. So it's and even the HVAC side went up. So it is doing good. Sean says, "Denver, careful, I might tie you to the train tracks." Don't upset Sean. Yeah, Larry's 2 months into plumbing. Roger, love it. Can't wait to get licensed, skilled, and go out on my own. And Ben, I love that attitude because like I said, when I started plumbing, the idea of me going out on my own never crossed my mind. Not till a few years later, and I'm like, "Wow, look what my friend's doing. Why didn't I do that? You know, everybody's gotta play nice in here. Ben is from Rhode Island. Baron Guitar says, "Roger answers questions so calm and concisely and optimistically. How did you become this way? Could you recall a defining moment and how you became such a good educator and host?" You know, Baron, I love that because I'm not always like that. I'm I'm focused on what I'm trying to build in here, and I get upset about it. I want things done my way all the time. When I'm trying to teach here, I'm trying to recruit people into the trade. I became an instructor in the union, so teaching plumbing came good to me. Uh, I love it. I love this profession that I am blessed enough to be good at, and for me to be able to share that with other people, man, I think it's phenomenal. So the cool thing about it is we're taking that and we're creating digital courses to teach people how to get into the trade. Most people in high school, even in college, don't even know, look, there's a career path in the trades. You can get in, you can move up, you can make great money. Then I'm teaching people how to become the best tradesman. I got a job in the union after 17 years in open shop. Once I got in the union, I started learning and educating myself, and that's when I started moving up. I started realizing the things to learn to move up, so it was really pretty cool. Then when I started my own business, and I'm looking down at the next list here or next message, uh, E-Myth by Michael Gerber. I read that book right as I was starting my company, and I'm so glad that I did because then I learned, man, there's a lot of things that I need to know in order to run a business the right way. And then 4 years ago, I went into a conference and I learned about social media. I learned about it in a way marketing companies don't even know about. So I started building systems and processes to help us grow through social. That part was cool, and, man, we just started exploding, so I don't know where I learned to do it. I think I've just always enjoyed helping others. So, kinda how I'll plug it in. I hope I answered your question though, Baron. Sean says, "A couple years ago, I read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber because Roger was talking about it. If you wanna start any kind of business, it's one of the books you need to read. It is excellent." Oh, man, I moved everything around. Yeah, why most businesses don't work and what to do about it. And I'm trying to remember, yeah, this is one that Michael Gerber actually signed for me in 2017. So think about that, that's when I met him 5 years ago, probably 5 and a half, almost 6 years ago. But that book right there, it will make a difference in how you do your business if you read it, listen to it, and decide to do it. And hell, here's even another one. The One Thing by Gary Keller. Uh, One of the other authors on here was Dave Jenks, a friend of mine. But the one thing, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results. Those books right there change the way you look at businesses, and they change the way you do things. So thank you, Sean. It's been a while. Michael Brennan says, "Thank you, Roger. Great stuff. Left left Lucy, righty tighty. Dope on those threads for the next guy." There you go. Mason, okay, Sean Duggar says, "Masonry's the oldest trade." That makes sense. Uh, Makes good sense. It's funny, I went down to Belton High School a couple of weeks ago, and I went in there because they were doing a plumbing day, but I got to talk to all these students, and a lot of the students actually were studying masonry, so I thought that was cool. And I do just wanna give y'all a shout out. We're gonna stop here at 12 o'clock. Uh, it's the week before Christmas. As you can see, our numbers are lower than normal, which is fine. That doesn't bother me. Love the people that get in here, but we got to get ready for Christmas too. Bruce Lane says, "Carpentry or masonry?" There you go, Bruce, way to go. Alright, says, "Hi, I'm retiring my plumbing business March 17th in Biloxi, Mississippi. Hate to leave the money is awesome, love the work, but I need to get traveling. Alright, I like that. Are you just shutting down? Are you selling it? Do you have anybody else that can run it for you? Anything like that? Okay, so Henry looked it up. That's my boy Randy says, "Looks like you've gotta get a contractor's license for Kansas." Thank you, Squirt. I appreciate that. And would be a class DP. Not sure what that means. Alright, selling the business and not just shutting the door. Yeah, see, you and me both. Something Gerber talks about in the E-Myth is an owner business becomes a product, and the goal is to sell it. And not only that, and here's one thing I like, and this is what I did. You grow your business and you don't sell it all. Keep a part of it. Think about what I just said a while ago. In the last year, that business has almost doubled. Plumbing and the HVAC have both grown 60 or 70%. So what money I left in that business, the percentage I left in that business that I took as part ownership, that has grown 70% too. Say over the next 5 or 10 years, it keeps doing that. Say over the next 5 years. Well, now it's 300%. So now it's worth 3 times what I sold the whole business for. So it comes out to be a really good thing if you can reinvest that money in it. Bruce Lane says, "I was a new construction installer in August. I started for a company so I could learn service. I mainly do service and some retrofit installs when we're 2 behind. I work for a small company." Bruce, what I like about this is and that's kinda like me, I love doing service. I enjoy building, but man, service is what I love. And when I can get in and work with people about problems that they have, the good thing is I've built enough of them. I know how they're built, so when I walk into a house to look at what problems they're having, man, fixing them isn't very hard to do. So service is for the heroes. James Lyles, I have to go. Roger, your knowledge is so appreciated. Thank you for your videos. Merry Christmas. James, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, Sean, that's my son, Randy, and he's up there helping me. He comes in now on Saturdays, helps me set up everything, get it ready. You'll see him in some videos, and he's actually gonna help me set up a kitchen out back so we can cook and do cool things. There's the links to the subreddit and the Discord group. Baron Guitar says, "Thanks for streaming, Roger." Look, thank y'all for being here. I do enjoy what I get to do, and I get to do it because of all you. And Henry says, there seems to be a license through the city." Makes sense. What's a plumbing book you recommend for new plumbers? Ben, man, if you're far enough along, you can buy the UPC study guide, which I reached for all my books today. Uh, I love the UPC study guide by Atmo. I like it because you can go to the back, find the answers, go through the book, mark everything with the correct answer, and then literally just go through and read it. And I know that sounds kinda weird. I'm gonna find a section I marked. I haven't marked up this whole book yet. You know, I've got a section right here. I don't know if you can tell, there's some that are highlighted yellow right there. So, it says, "The length among the center line of the pipe and fittings is the developed length." Okay, I don't ever read any of the wrong answers. So, all I do when I'm getting ready for an exam, I read that book over and over and over again. I try to read it 3 or 4 times. Think about it. When you read it, when you mark it up like that, you're only reading about 10 or 12 sentences through that whole thing. So it doesn't take long to read it. Then about a week before my exam, I'll cover up the answers and I'll read it. And if I don't know the answer 100%, I highlight that question number in red, pink, something like that. Then I go through and just study those for 3 or 4 days. Then I come back and just answer those. Once I've got those, now I go through the whole book the night before or 2 days before my test, nail it. Yeah, trust is the code book. Uh, yeah, what is this stuff here? Let's do this. Boom. Okay, we'll try it like that. There you go. Alright, see what happened there, see if they come back. Bruce says, "Hope y'all have a great Christmas. Thanks for the time, Roger. See you guys on the next." Guys, my next stream will be in January, just so you know. Make sure we're good and everybody else is good. I won't be here the 24th or the 31st, so next time I will see y'all will be January the 7th. We will be cooking out back. Michael says, "Have to run shortly. Always enjoy your content and perspective. Merry Christmas, safe, and Happy New Year." Thank you, sir. Uh, guys, I love what I get to do, and I get to do it because of y'all. So thank each and every one of y'all. And everybody who is jumping like, man, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope it's been an amazing year, but man, to be honest, I hope that you're learning something, whether it's through me, whether it's through someone else. I hope that you're getting information that you can take to the bank because that's what I wanna do. I wanna teach you how to make more money. Sean, you are welcome. Thank you. And Ben says, "UPC study guide." Roger, thanks. See you next time I live stream. Thank you. And there may be a link to the study guide down in the description. I'm not sure. It is, and to me, that is my favorite study book. So, Ben, I hope that does help you out. Dave Smith says, "The book I use is Zen and the Art of Plumbing Maintenance." Sounds like a winner. Sean, I'm just like you. You know what? I'm just gonna open a tab over here. I will definitely check it out. Is it a book or it just looks like everything's all right here on the computer? Uh, yeah, definitely check it out. John, thank you. Merry Christmas to you, sir. So, before I get out of here, what's everybody doing for Christmas? Any of y'all going anywhere crazy, doing something fun, anything at all like that, or just taking it easy? Do y'all have family at home? Do you have kids at home that you know, the white bearded man is gonna come by and visit and say hi? You never know. I'm still trying to find the book. I'm looking. I hadn't found it yet, but I've got it pulled up here, so I'll get in here and see if I can find it. Yeah, I found a whole lot of notes about it. I just can't find a book. Dave Smith says, "Got you again. Haha, you're funny." See, that is funny. Hey, there's a website though, they got some cool stuff. Maverick Meehan says, "Just started a new business 3 days ago doing power flushing and oil boiler servicing." Man, good for you. And that's another thing. Think about this, guys that are thinking about starting a business. What can you do different? What can you do that nobody else is doing? Is there anything that isn't happening in your area? Say leak detection. Y'all know that here in Texas, we specialize in leak detection. We manufacture leak detection equipment, and we've been doing that for a while now, and we've really grown a lot of business doing it. What can you do in your area? Can you do leak detection? Can you do pipelining? Can you do pipe bursting? Can you do things that other people don't do that maybe a homeowner say, "Wow, I'd rather do that because it's gonna be a better thing for me and my house and whatnot." Man, if you can learn how to do that, fantastic. Dave Smith, you a funny, funny man. Maverick Meehan says, "Christmas at home in Ireland with my family." Good for you. Ben Landry says, "Rhode Islanders never leave Rhode Island." Well, man, could say Texans never leave Texas, but we can't because everybody else keeps coming down here. We gotta defend our state. Maverick Meehan says, That's exactly it. About 5 companies in Ireland, advertising online, plumbers do it, but not much around here. I'm telling you, I would literally think about what could you do different, and maybe it's five-star service. Put on a tuxedo, put on white gloves, and show up and say, "Hey, I'm the plumber." Put down carpets where you walk, the little rollabout rugs. Put on floor savers, put on get a uniform. Get something other plumbers are not doing. What are the biggest problems around here? Is y'all's biggest problem water heaters? Just do water heaters. There's a company here in Dallas called Tank Yankers, and they just do water heaters all day, every day. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You've just gotta look at it and figure out how can I do these things better than anybody? Find a way to do it, and it'll separate you quickly. I know Dave Smith, he's a funny man. You're welcome. Yeah, Dave's got jokes. Wonderful. So, I don't guess anybody's doing anything crazy for Christmas because I didn't see anything in there. I'm gonna go up to my sister's house, see my sister and brother, spend time with them, but that's no big deal. I get to do that all the time. Makes it kinda fun, but, man, I guess this is the last live stream of the year then. This is pretty cool. I wanna say thank you to each and every one of you. I get to do something so cool. I do love plumbing. I do love the trades, but I get to get in here and talk about it each and every week. I get to make videos about it, and I still have a good living. So, I owe each and every one of y'all a big thank you. Uh, y'all watching my videos, y'all jumping in my live streams, man, y'all make it where we get to do the fun stuff. Sean Strong is a fantastic person to have in here, uh, been a great moderator for me, and I love having him around. Actually brought Sean into town to see us, a few months back, and that's something else we're wanting to start doing is really whenever we get out here and cooking, inviting people to town, come hang out, see what we do, drink bourbon with us. We're fixing to start a podcast, so we're fixing to do some cool stuff to see what we can do to make this all even better. So, I do hope that y'all have enjoyed it. I hope that you get something out of what we do. Uh We're trying to grow next year. We're at almost 475,000 subs. As you can see, our goal next year this time is to be at 1,000,000. So, hopefully y'all will help me do that. Alright, this is great tips. Thank you. Justin Reed says, "Thanks again, Roger. Hope you and the family have a Merry Christmas and a fun, safe New Year." Thank you very much. Randy says, "Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. See y'all in 2023." And that's right. We won't be back here till January the 7th. Don't get me wrong, I'll be here in the company, but this week here, we're gonna be getting ready for Christmas. Next week, we'll be getting ready for New Year's. We got a lot of videos to shoot, a lot of courses to shoot, a lot of things to do, but we are getting there. Matthew Strickland says, "I used LegalZoom to get a DBA, doing business as, and tax stamp. Have no complaints in that department. Good deal, man." John Strong says, "Randy, Colton, you guys have a Merry Christmas. Thanks, Roger, for the lives. Everyone come hang out in the Discord." Yeah, and they are having fun over. I hear about it from everybody, so it's a pretty cool deal. And there's the link to the subreddit and the Discord. So, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything ready to get out of here. I wanna say thank y'all, each and every one of you, for being here. Thank you for what you do. Randy, I'm gonna see if I can think I can do it over here. Here. Alright, if I'm not mistaken, Randy, you are now a moderator, just like Sean, that will help, and if you'll put a comment in there, I will know for sure, but I just look, I wanna say thank you to each and every one of y'all. I do appreciate everything y'all do for us. You make it where we get to do what we get to do, and we have fun doing it, so thank you. Uh, Matthew says, "I use LegalZoom, Sean. Perfect, so I am there. Good deal. Alright, got it. You are now a mod. Alright, guys, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all being here, and happy Saturday to you. If you don't see me on my other videos, not in my live stream on Wednesday on LinkedIn or anything like that, y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, helping you make more money in this